what's happening around the world
and what's happening here at home. A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Mariam Ganavijaya.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
Anuradhapura and Mihintale welcome devotees as Sri Lanka celebrates Poson Poya. Pardon granted to 289 prisoners. Suspicious excavations near Kalabeva. Authorities investigate incident. We must never forget how the medicine, fuel and fertilizer shortages plagued Sri Lanka. A statement from the President. Our service to the public will continue despite challenges. Opposition leader pledges. No government serve the public. Anura Kumara Dissanayake stresses. India will always be a reliable friend and a dependable partner for Sri Lanka, says Minister Dr. Jaishankar. Today marks the Poson full moon Poya Day. It was on a day like this Buddhism was introduced in Sri Lanka.
218 years after Buddha passed into Parinirvana during the reign of Ashoka the Great, the Third Buddhist Council was convened at Pataliputra. The Third Buddhist Council is considered to have played a significant role in the spread of Buddhism to at least 9 countries. Motivated by his friendship with King Devanampiyatissa, Ashoka arranged for a mission to Sri Lanka led by his son Mahinda. 236 years since the Parinirvana of the Buddha, Arahat Mahinda Thera, accompanied by Ittiya, Uttiya, Sambala, Badasala, Sumana Samanera and layman Banduka arrived at Mihintale in Anuradhapura. The encounter between King Devanampiyatissa and Arahat Mahinda Thera, who was mistaken for a deer hunter, is considered a unique intelligent test. Following his conversation with Arahat Mahinda Thera, King Devanampiyatissa sought spiritual guidance and received the Chulla Hattipadopama Sutra, a discourse illuminating the Dharma. Since then, Sri Lanka has flourished with a rich culture, artistic heritage, innovative irrigation systems, agricultural revival, and a strong foundation of religious morality rooted in pure Buddhism. Arahat Mahinda Thera's arrival, known as Mahindagamana, led to Prince Aritta entering the Buddhist order, establishing the Bhikkhu Sangha in Sri Lanka, and Sangamitha Theri arriving with a group skilled in 18 arts and crafts, bringing the Sirimabo sapling. The National Poson Festival is being observed in Mihintale today. Religious programs are being broadcasted live throughout the day, allowing devotees to participate in the day's events from afar. Sirasa TV's Sirasa Namami Poya Day program covered these events live from Mihintale. The day's activities began after the morning religious observances guided by Venerable Veruppankulume Piyaratana Thera, the resident monk of the Mihintale Rajamaha Vihara. A Viharasana lecture was delivered by Venerable Omalpe Somananda Thera, a senior lecturer from the Sri Lanka Pali and Buddhist University.
සංවාදය කාලීන වශයෙන් ඉතාම වැදගත්.
The Sirasa Damsara Mandapa was graced by the arrival of Venerable Talangalle Sudamma Thera.
Dhamma savana kalo ayang bhadanta.
Venerable Vatrukumre Damratana Thera delivered a special Sanasa discourse focusing on the preservation of Buddha's teachings.
විහාරාරාම ඉදිකිරීම ඒ කටයුත්තම තමයි මිහිඳු මහ රහතන් වහන්සේත් අද වගේ දවසක ආරම්භ කරන්නට යෙදුනේ.
The afternoon featured the Turunusita discussion program and a program titled Sappyuma, exploring themes of culture and art.
ඇයි සර් මේ විදිහට ඒ දේවල් දරා ගන්න බැරි?
අපි බොරු ඇත්තට ඇලුනහම අපිට ඇත්ත පිළිගන්න බැරි වෙනවා හැමෝටම.
The Ape Pansala's Sirasa talk was held thereafter. This program featured Venerable Ambulugala Sumangalathera and S.C. Veerasekara, Chief Operating Officer of the Capital Maharaja Group. Students of the Ananda Balika Vidyalaya, Colombo also participated in this event.
අපි සතුටක් විඳිනවා නම් ඒ සතුටේ කෙලවරක් දුකම තමයි ඒක තමයි ආස්වාදය ආදීනවය.
The afternoon concluded with a special program called Podisadugen Ahanna.
එකතරු රැසින් එලසට නම වේය දුරු.
Dam Sabia.
The Damsavya Poson Poe Day program was implemented today, centering the historic Madanwala Rajamahaviharya in Hangurakketa. It was held under the auspices of Venerable Vallagiriya Sumangala Thera. Along with the Damsavya Poson Poe Day program, a Poson zone will also be held at the historic Madanwala Rajamahaviharya today and tomorrow. This afternoon, the staff of the Sirasa Broadcast Centre in Depanama held a puja opposite the Buddha statue in the premises. A sermon followed thereafter. Nearly 20,000 police officers have been deployed across Sri Lanka in line with a special security program for Poson Poya. Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakon called on the public to take precautions to avoid road and drowning accidents.
Police lifeguards have been deployed in Anuradhapura and surrounding areas to ensure public safety. We kindly request the public to refrain from bathing in unsafe locations and to exercise caution when travelling to minimize traffic accidents.
A dansala organised by the Kurunegala police station was opened this morning by IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon. A special state pardon was granted to 289 prisoners in line with Poson Poe Day. The pardon was granted based on the powers vested in the President by Article 34 of the Constitution. Prisons Commissioner and spokesperson Gamini B. Dissanayake said prisoners who were convicted of minor offences and met the relevant conditions were released from prisons across Sri Lanka. Many dansalas were organised across the country in celebration of Poson. One unique dansala was a car wash organised by the Driveline Company held opposite the Dematagoda branch. A sacred ritual of releasing cattle and goats designated for slaughter was held today at the Dharmayatana temple in Narayampita. Other birds, including parrots, were also released. The Sisiravanyarachi Savya Foundation and Mitrukala co-organised the Poson Rice Dansala for the 16th time this year. An almsgiving ceremony for 75 Silmatas was also conducted. The Siambalagoda Youth Organisation held a rice dansala for the 18th time today at Siambalagoda Junction. A fried rice dansala was held near the Kalavawa today under the patronage of former President Maithripala Sirisena. In line with Poson Poe Day, 125 people underwent free eye surgery at Jaffna Teaching Hospital.
Poson Poe Day holds great significance for us as it marks the arrival of Arhat Mahinda Thero and the introduction of Buddhism to Sri Lanka.
The inscription found at the Rajala monastery complex in Ampara stands as the oldest archaeological evidence of this historic visit. Today, we turn our attention to the Rajala archaeological site.
Rajala, commonly Rajala Thanna or Rasagala, is a rugged and heavily forested mountain in the eastern province of Sri Lanka. Located in the Ohana Divisional Secretariat, it reaches a height of 1,038 feet above sea level and holds significant ancient ruins. The Rajala Archaeological Site, sprawling over 1,080 acres, boasts over 600 remaining structures. While references to Mahinda Gamane appears in many historical texts, the Rajala Archaeological Site provides crucial physical evidence to support these accounts. The site features an inscription that the ashes of Arahat Mahinda Thera were enshrined in a stupa at the Rajala Archaeological Site. Recent excavations in 2022 unearthed numerous smaller stupas near the main one, believed to contain the ashes of various Arahats. Rajala boasts a collection of inscriptions from various periods. The inscriptions mentioning Arahat Mahinda Thera stands as the most significant archaeological find. These lithic discoveries further solidifies the historical chronicles related to Mahinda Gamane. Other noteworthy ruins at Rajala include an unfinished Buddha statue, the Diyapihilla with its accompanying large stone bowls, a watchtower depicting Punkalasa carrying a garment, and another depicting Nagaraju and Rajani. The site also features a cave with a collection of primitive cave paintings of unknown date, as well as fragments of frescoes believed to be from the Anuradhapura period. Spanning a millennium from around 100 BC to the 10th century AD, Rajala showcases over 1,000 years of construction. So far, archaeologists have discovered over 500 monuments and nearly 100 inscriptions. Even today, Rajala remains a popular destination for both local and foreign tourists, attracting devotees and history enthusiasts alike.
A group of people carried out a deep excavation near the main dam of the Kalabava, a reservoir built by King Dhatusena of Anuradhapura. Mahabali officials overseeing the Kalabava suspect that treasure hunters may be responsible for this diversion.
The question remains, who could have conducted such an excavation using machinery in the highly protected zone of Kalabava, where entry without prior permission is strictly prohibited? Built by King Dhatusena in the 5th century, the Kalabava stands as a testament to Sri Lanka's excellence in irrigation technology. With a water capacity of 100,000 acre-feet, that is approximately 123 million cubic meters, the Kalabava features a black stone outlet and 3 main sluices. For millennia, water from the central main gate has flowed through a 40-foot wide canal for 54 miles, nourishing thousands of acres of paddy fields. Recent excavations near the Bunt close to the Vava have raised concerns about the potential threat to this vital resource, which has sustained the region for centuries. Officials from the Mahabali Authority of Sri Lanka also arrived at the scene of the incident.
කලාවැව ආරක්ෂකංශයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ ආරක්ෂකංශයේ එතන ඉන්න අනුකම්ප බලනින්දාරි මට පණිවිඩයක් දුන්නා. මෙතන මේ වගේ සිද්ධියක් වෙලා තියෙනවා කියලා මට එයා ෆොටෝ ටිකකුත් එව්වා. ඊට පස්සේ මම මේ සම්බන්ධයෙන් අපේ අධ්‍යක්ෂතුමාට දැනුම් දීලා මම ආවා මේක බලන්න. වෙන කාර්යද එන්න කලින් දැනුම් දුන්නා මේ ජලාශය බාරව ඉන්න අපේ කාර්යභාර ඉංජිනේරු ඉන්නවා බුද්ධික මහත්තයා. මම එතුමාට දැනුම් දීලා තමයි මෙතෙන්ට ආවේ. එතකොට මේ ඔබතුමා බාරව ඉන්න RPM මහත්තයා දැනුවත් කරලා RPM මහත්තයාටත් මම පණිවිඩයක් කිව්වා මෙන්න මෙහෙම සිදුවීමක් තියෙනවා. 9ට විතර වගේ උදේ 9ට විතර. දැන් වෙලාව කීයද මහත්තයා? දැන් වෙලාව 1:25යි. 1:25යි. අපිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් දැන් 1:25ට ඔබතුමාත් දකින්න ඇති වෙලාව අපි එකට විතර ගත්තා. ඔබතුමා ඔය කියන RPM මහත්තයාට ඔබතුමා 9ට දැනුම් දුන්න පුද්ගලයා ඒ මහත්මයා අපි කියනකන් දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා කිව්වා අපිට. මම හිතන්නේ එතුමා අද මම කියන්නේ කාර්යබහුල පොඩි අද මම හිතන්නේ රැස්වීම දෙක තුනක්ම තියෙනවා එතුමාට.
Newsfirst inquired about the incident with a senior police officer in Anuradhapura. He confirmed that an investigation is underway. However, the police have not yet arrested any suspects. Meanwhile, Namal Karnaratna, the national organizer of the All Ceylon Agrarian Federation, spoke to the media regarding the incident.
When machines are brought in to dig here, the whole region should be aware. No one can simply access this land. Yet construction has been done and a temporary settlement has been established. Who authorized this? There is a strong suspicion that these boat trips and settlements are connected to treasure hunting. Please don't try to downplay this like a petty theft. We demand accountability. We will not tolerate any attempts to deflect blame. The police don't have to bow down to SM Chandrasena.
අපි කියනවා SM චන්ද්‍රසේනගේ කෝල් එකට පොලිසිය මහතුරු නැමෙන්න හදන්න එපා. ඒකත් අපි මතක් කරනවා.
Newsfirst attempted to contact Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP SM Chandrasena for comment on several occasions, but were unsuccessful. However, if MP Chandrasena wishes to provide clarification on this matter, Newsfirst will offer the opportunity to do so.
The Election Commission will be empowered to proclaim the date for the presidential election in 26 days.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stressed that no one should forget the past of suffering without medicines, fuel and fertilizer. The President expressed these views addressing the 9th conference of the Oil Island Private Pharmacy Owners Association yesterday.
අමාරු කාලේ එක එක සංවිධාන රජයේ ආයතන කඩා වැටුණු අවස්ථාවේදී ඔබ ඉදිරියට ඇවිල්ලා මේ වගකීම ඉෂ්ට කළා.
You fulfilled your responsibility by coming forward during a time of great hardship. When many state and other organizations were malfunctioning, many people are alive today because of your efforts. While medicines were available, we lacked sufficient funds at that time. You fulfilled your duty by facing the challenge head-on without flinching. That is what we hope for from everyone in the country, but unfortunately we don't always see it. I can recall the challenges I faced when I first took the leadership of the country. We had no foreign exchange to buy medicine, fertilizer or fuel. I had to make difficult choices about where to allocate the limited funds. Ultimately, we decided to prioritize fertilizer, which led to the increased production and the development of agriculture. This in turn resulted in the gradual development of the country. We all remember those hard times, but we are here today because we made the right decisions.
දීලා අලාභයක් ලබා ගන්නවත් අපි ඔක්කොමට මේ තීරණ ගන්න සිදුවන. අපි ඔක්කොම එහෙම හරියට ඒ තීරණ ගත්තේ නිසා අද අපි සියලු දෙනාම මෙතන ඉන්නවා.
A memento was also presented to the President by the All Island Private Pharmacy Owners Association.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that his work towards the betterment of the people will remain undefeated in spite of any challenges.
As you can see, they are attacking from all sides, both individually and in groups. They target us from both inside and outside Parliament. Why do they attack us? They attack us for helping the people of a bankrupt country. Their attacks are directed against the good deeds done for the people and children of this bankrupt nation. I would like to say one thing. They have surrounded us and are now attacking us. Everyone else has united, leaving us on one side. Even if that happens, I would like to say that 22 million people stand with us. us. What are their aims? This is an opposing campaign against 41,000 children from 10,090 schools. Just because you have an issue with me, do not seek revenge on the children. Do not take revenge on 41,000 students. We aim to provide lunch to all students by the end of this year. They oppose that as well. They are against us giving fertilizer to farmers and also purchasing their harvest. They oppose us establishing industries and creating new jobs. They oppose economic development. Can a bankrupt nation develop this way? I would like to say that this is not possible. I am saying that our work towards the betterment of the people and children will remain undefeated in spite of any rivalry or opposition. The more they attack us, the more we will serve the people.
The opposition leader expressed these views during the 247th program of the Sakwala Smart Classroom program conducted at the Kurunagala Hiriyala Nikadalupotta Tittavelagala Al Hikmat Muslim Mahavidyalaya, where equipment for a smart classroom worth 1 million was donated. An additional 100,000 rupees was also donated for the construction of a library in the school. Representatives of the farming community and district leaders participated in the National People's Power Rally held in Dehiyattakandiya.
We all know this by now. Is there any doubt about the presidential election being announced in about 2 months? Will the election be held? Absolutely. Do not worry about that. The election will happen. They speak as if there will be no election, but ignore them. They make these claims out of fear. The Director General of the Election Commission confirmed today that the election will be held. Therefore, there is no room for doubt. The government that ruled until now does not represent the common people. They cater to the interests of the elite class. They provide sugar tax relief to the wealthy associates. When you buy 1 kilogram of sugar, the government only earns 50 rupees. When I pump fuel, I contribute by 75 rupees to the government. What are they doing? The common man pays taxes, but their friends are relieved of this burden. Distillery owners who put banks in difficult positions or evade taxes are not held accountable. On the other hand, if you take out a loan and fail to repay it, your property will be seized. The police seize drugs. Who do they catch? They catch minor users. Can a farmer's son in this area afford to smuggle drugs worth 30 million rupees? No. The major drug smugglers go free because they control the government. Go to the Ampara jail and see if there is a powerful person there. Kehli is currently in remand for a short period, but in general, such people are not jailed. I believe Ranil Wickremesinghe is 75 years old. Vajira Abeyewardena suggests giving him 10 more years, which would make him 85. Imagine what would happen to an 85-year-old villager from a poor family. Even neem trees would have thrived by them. That is the plight of the poor. The NPP's first challenge will be to eradicate poverty in rural communities. The NPP will initiate that program.
මේ රටේ ග්‍රාමීය දුප්පත්භාවය තුරන් කිරීමේ වැඩසටහන ජාතික ජනබලවේගය ආරම්භ කරනවා.
News first with the people.
Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that India will always be a reliable friend and dependable partner for Sri Lanka. The minister expressed these remarks on a post on X upon concluding his visit to Sri Lanka.
Indian Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar left the island yesterday upon concluding his one-day visit. Sharing a post on X, the minister said he concluded a productive visit to Sri Lanka, his first in this new term. During his one-day visit, he first met with President Ranil Wickremesinghe. He also held talks with Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena. The minister also engaged in a discussion with his Sri Lankan counterpart, Minister Ali Sabri, in which Minister Sabri expressed willingness to strengthen bilateral ties. A meeting was also held between Minister Dr. Jaishankar and opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Representatives of Tamil parties in Sri Lanka also met with the minister yesterday afternoon. A group of ministers and MPs representing the ruling and opposition factions were present.
Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Defence of the Central Government of India, Sanjay Seth, has reviewed the Sri Lanka-India border.
India's Minister of State for Defence Sanjay Seth travelled by a hovercraft to the Indian borders from the Archaeological beach in Dhanushkodi. The Coast Guard officials also participated in the review. Minister Sanjay Seth also paid tribute to the Indian flag near the India-Sri Lanka border.
The military and police checkpoints near the Thambodi Bridge at the entrance to the Manor Island have been temporarily removed.
When inquired by Newsfirst, Army spokesperson Major General Rasika Kumara said that the main military and police checkpoints near the Thambodi Bridge in Manor have been temporarily removed. He added that the checkpoints will be re-established if necessary.
A Murasami-class destroyer of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force reached Colombo yesterday.
Samidare DD-106 of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force arrived at the port of Colombo on a formal visit. The visiting ship was welcomed by the Sri Lanka Navy in compliance with naval traditions. The 150.5-meter-long ship serves in the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and she is manned by 202 crew members. She is commanded by Commander Koga Naoki. Meanwhile, captain of the ship called on Commander Western Naval Area Rear Admiral Saman Pereira at the Western Naval Headquarters today. During the ship's stay in Colombo, the crew members are expected to visit some of the tourist attractions in the country. Concluding her official visit, Samidare DD-106 will depart the island on the 22nd of June. Upon her departure, the ship will engage in a passage exercise with a Sri Lanka Navy ship in Colombo seas.
Foreign tourism revenue in Sri Lanka have surged by 70.6% compared to last year. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka reported that tourism earnings in the first 5 months of this year reached 435 billion rupees. Now this is a significant increase from the 255 billion rupees earned during the same period last year. Meanwhile, a press conference was held today to unveil their plans for the upcoming DML Digital Summit 2024.
The Digital Marketers Association of Sri Lanka hosted a press conference yesterday to unveil details of the upcoming DML Digital Summit 2024. The highly anticipated event will be held as a 2-day forum on July 3rd and 4th in Colombo.
One of the key goals were to basically provide a comprehensive ecosystem to the digital marketing fraternity, and also with the help of Sri Lanka government and the President Office, we wanted to comprehensively build the digital marketing ecosystem. Digital marketing is not only one alignment of a job, but it's also a comprehensive ecosystem to develop a country, develop a nation, and Sri Lanka wanted this kind of impact. So we founded the association 3 years ago, having in mind a comprehensive digital ecosystem and how to take it further, and hence today we are here.
This year's summit theme, Chartering the Uncharted, reflects on the dynamic nature of the digital marketing landscape. The event will bring together a diverse range of professionals, including digital marketing experts, advertising agencies, business leaders, and technology enthusiasts. Newsfirst, TV1, and Yes 101 are the electronic media partners of this event.
TNL, a pioneer of private television in Sri Lanka, celebrates its proud 31st anniversary today.
Shan Wickramasinghe, the pioneer who first introduced Sri Lankans to audiovisual electronic media, started the first private television channel in Sri Lanka after the government took over the independent channel he created. That channel is TNL. Shan Wickramasinghe's combination of technical knowledge and innate management skills led to the creation of TNL television channel. Here's a reflection of his efforts.
අප්‍රේල් මාස 13 වෙනිදා තමයි පළවෙනි රූපවාහිනී සේවය පටන් ගත්තේ. එදින පොඩිහාන්ද ගංගාරාමේ නායක හාමුදුරුවෝ තමයි බණ දේශනා කරේ. මේ දේශනා කරනකොටත් අපේ ගින්දර ගියා, දුම් දැම්මා, ඒ වුණාට ගණන් ගත්තේ නැහැ අපි වැඩේ කෙරුවා. වලින්ෙන් ඇන්ටනා එකේ කැඩලා තිබුණ ඇතුලේ කොක්සියල් කැල්ල. ඒිට ඒ මං කෙලින්ම අරගෙන ගියා පිළියන්දල වයිලින් වැඩ කරන මහත්තයෙක් ළඟට ටින්කර් මහත්තයෙක් ළඟට ඒ මහත්තයාට කියලා මං ඒක හදාගත්තා. සතියටක් යනකොට මේ ආණ්ඩුවට පවරා ගත්තා. කිසිම කාරණයක් නැතුව. ඉතින් මම මොනවද කරන්නේ? රූපවාහිනී සේවයක් පටන් ගැනීමට ආයෙත් පස් කරා. 93 කීලේ රූපවාහිනී සේවය පටන් ගත්තා. ඒ පටන් ගත්තේ 21 වෙනි දවසේ එදා හුඟක් ප්‍රශ්න තිබුණා.
TNL has brought many fresh experiences to the people of Sri Lanka. TNL's achievements include creating the first private television newscast and the first political talk show on private television. TNL also pioneered political comedy on television. TNL, which has always prioritized its national mission over commercial values, has faced criticism both domestically and internationally. TNL celebrated its 31st anniversary by prioritizing religious activities. Congratulations from the MTV MBC Media Network on the 31st anniversary of TNL, which remains steadfastly dedicated to the people's right to information for the sake of the country and its people.
Concerns are mounting over Sri Lanka's proposed bridge connecting India, and Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, expressed views on the matter as well. Let's take a look at what he had to say.
His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, Archbishop of Colombo, recently spoke about the proposed bridge connecting Sri Lanka and India.
There has been discussion lately regarding the construction of a bridge between Sri Lanka and India. Historically, Sinhalese rulers fought valiantly to defend our land from Indian attacks. We must not take action that could jeopardize our territorial integrity. The potential connection to Tamil Nadu raises concerns, and we must carefully consider whether this bridge is truly in Sri Lanka's best interests. Do we need this bridge? It looks like the government is not making sense. Internationalism, where we act in a way that is approved by the international community, is good to a certain extent, but we must protect our sovereignty. Therefore, I am saying that do not fall into difficult situations by taking such decisions.
මේ ජාත්‍යන්තරකරණය ලංකාවේ එක්තරා මට්ටමකට හොඳයි. නමුත් අපි අපේ ස්වාධීනත්වය සහ ස්වෛරීභාවය ආරක්ෂා කරගෙන කටයුතු කරන්න පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ නිසා මම අවංකවම ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා මේ තීන්දුව අරගෙන අමාරුවේ වැටෙන්න එපා.
The United States and China have resumed semi-official nuclear arms talks for the first time in 5 years. Let's take a look at these details on The World today.
The United States and China resumed semi-official nuclear arms talks in March for the first time in 5 years, with Beijing's representatives telling US counterparts that they would not resort to atomic threats over Taiwan. The Chinese representatives offered reassurances after their US interlocutors raised concerns that China might use or threaten to use nuclear weapons if it faced defeat in a conflict over Taiwan. Beijing views the democratically governed island as its territory, a claim rejected by the government in Taipei. Washington was represented by about half a dozen delegates, including former officials and scholars, at the two-day discussions which took place in Shanghai Hotel Conference Room. Beijing sent a delegation of scholars and analysts, which included several former People's Liberation Army officers. The informal discussions between the nuclear-armed powers took place with the US and China at odds over major economic and geopolitical issues, with leaders in Washington and Beijing accusing each other of dealing in bad faith. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said Russia reserves the right to provide arms to allies and could send long-range weapons to the DPRK and other countries. The Russian president also noted that Moscow is considering modifications to its doctrine on the use of atomic weapons, as West appears to be working on low-yield weapons to lower the nuclear threshold. When asked about the peace terms he offered Ukraine last week, Putin said that Russia has always been willing to negotiate, while Kiev and its Western backers sabotaged both the Minsk process and the Istanbul talks. The Israeli military earlier said that it was establishing a new safe corridor to deliver aid into southern Gaza. But days later, this self-declared tactical pause has brought little relief to desperate Palestinians. The United Nations and international aid organizations say a breakdown in law and order has made the aid route unusable. With thousands of truckloads of aid piled up, groups of armed men are regularly blocking convoys, holding drivers at gunpoint and rifling through their cargo. The lawlessness is a major obstacle to aid distribution to southern and central Gaza, where an estimated 1.3 million Palestinians displaced from Rafah, or more than half of Gaza's entire population, are now sheltering in tent camps and cramped apartments without adequate food, water or medical supplies. Things are looking up for the Iberian lynx. Just over 2 decades ago, the pointy-eared wildcat was on the brink of extinction, but as of Thursday, the International Union for Conservation of Nature says it's no longer an endangered species. Successful conservation efforts mean that the animal, native to Spain and Portugal, is now barely a vulnerable species, according to the latest version of the IUCN Red List. In 2001, there were only 62 mature Iberian lynx, medium-sized mottled brown cats with characteristic pointed ears, and a pair of beard-like tufts of facial hair on the Iberian Peninsula. Species disappearance was closely linked to that of its main prey, the European rabbit, as well as habitat degradation and human activity.
The Canadian actor Donald Sutherland, a star of films including The Hunger Games and Don't Look Now, has passed away at the age of 88 after a long illness.
Which one of you guys wants to be a general? What kind of a general, sir? Just a plain, ordinary, everyday, home-loving American general.
I'd rather be a civilian, sir.
Can't you see anything except in terms of how it affects you?
To you, this is just another story. One more murder isn't news. But let me tell you something. It's news to me. I've been watching you. And you watching me. I'm afraid we've both been played for fools.
Canadian actor Donald Sutherland's son said, quote-unquote, "With a heavy heart, I tell you that my father, Donald Sutherland, has passed away. I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film. Never daunted by a role, good, bad or ugly. He loved what he did and did what he loved. And one can never ask for more than that, a life well lived." Sutherland had almost 200 credits to his name in a career spanning more than half a century. The news was met with an outpouring of support and tributes. Actor Rob Lowe, who starred alongside Sutherland in the miniseries Salem's Lot, called his former co-star, quote-unquote, "one of our greatest actors. It was my honor to work with him many years ago, and I will never forget his charisma and ability," he wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Australia picked up a crucial win over Bangladesh in the Super 8 of the ICC T20 Cricket World Cup to edge closer to the knockout stage.
The encounter between the two sides was held at the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Ground in Antigua. Invited to bat first, Bangladesh put up 140 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in the allocated 20 overs. Captain Najmul Hossain Shanto contributed with an important knock of 41 runs off 36 deliveries. Tawhid Ridoy also played a crucial part in the innings for Bangladesh, scoring 40 runs off 28 deliveries. Pat Cummins collected 2 quick scalps to end Australia's 18th over and then removed Ridoy upon return to start over 20, completing the tournament's first hat-trick. Chasing a target of 141 runs, the opening pair for Australia got things off to a strong start, with Travis Head contributing 31 runs off 21 deliveries, while David Warner was unbeaten off 53 off 35 deliveries. Play was interrupted by rain during the Australian inning at the completion of 11.2 overs, when Australia were 100 runs for the loss of 2 wickets. This shower proved more thorough than the others, with play eventually abandoned. The Aussies sealed a first-up Super 8 win, finishing 28 runs ahead of par via the Duckworth-Lewis turn method.
And with that, we wrap up Primetime News for tonight.
Thank you very much for joining us. Good night and take care.